Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Denman. Welcome to Denman's Den, and this is my third broadcast on YouTube. And today is August 26, 2025. And just like my broadcast last week, I'm going to be sharing an essay with you that I have written. This one I actually wrote probably about a week and a half ago. And I haven't published it yet until today. And today I published it on my WordPress blog, and I also put it on my personal Facebook page and on my Denman's Den Facebook page. But just like with the last essay that I shared with you, I also want to care for those of you who have an easier time with an audio presentation of an essay than actually having to read it. So I am right now going to begin reading to you my essay called My Big Ethical Question in This Very Unethical Time. And I do hope that my question will be one that resonates with your heart and your mind in terms of an ethical dilemma in the midst of this autocratic regime that we are undergoing right now. And if it does resonate with your heart and your mind, please comment on the YouTube channel, or you can go to my Facebook page and comment that it resonates with you, or perhaps you have things you might want to add to it in terms of your own ethical questions and dilemmas in the midst of this very difficult time that we're in. So without further comment, I will begin to read the essay. So on the day that I wrote this essay, I was listening to a news channel on the internet. And the newscaster was declaring that what is going on in our country is no longer about red and blue states. It's no longer about Democrats and Republicans. And it's no longer about liberal and conservative. What it is about is good and evil. And over the course of the past week, I have frequently seen a post, which various ones of my friends have been sharing on Facebook. And hundreds of people have already signed it, and it basically is a post that lists more than 40 I will not work together to support items, which included things like denying health care to people who need it, normalizing tyranny, increasing voter suppression, kidnapping and deporting immigrants, and those are just a few. Say hi to Dora. She's intent on sitting with me this afternoon. So those were on the list of I will not work together to support that was going around Facebook. And when I saw that post, and I started seeing it on the same day as the news channel I was listening to on the internet, it got me to thinking and reflecting upon what is for me a very big ethical question. Am I supposed to stay connected with people who support and even traffic in this increasingly fascist and evil regime that has become the government of our nation and is destroying our democracy and our global relationships and is making a mockery of our Constitution? Am I supposed to, quote unquote, turn the other cheek and remain tolerant of the increasing evil that I see getting worse every single day in the United States of America? That is my big ethical question. in this very unethical time. And that question has lingered in my mind and in my heart with increasing heaviness for the past 3 months, I would say, especially because of what I observe from friends, family members, as well as people I don't even know that are still devoted to and aligned with Trump, his incompetent administration, and his MAGA cult. So what have I observed? Well, a whole list of things. First, an absolute callousness toward immigrant families. I have observed fierce opposition to releasing the Epstein files. And we can all speculate why probably that's happening. I have observed absolute giddiness at the cancellation of media members such as PBS, NPR, Stephen Colbert, the lawsuits of CBS Paramount and the Wall Street Journal. I have observed complete indifference to the suffering in Gaza and Ukraine. I have observed cruelty toward those who are immigrants working hard and contributing positively to our society. I have observed complete disregard of the lives of children and the elderly by closing agencies and cutting programs that support their health, their well-being, and their basic rights. I have observed this administration taking vengeance on anyone in any public position who has disagreed with Trump and his actions and policies. And they are using the justice system, as well as threats of withdrawal of government funding, which is extortion, basically. And I have observed that Trump in particular, and some of his administration too, are admiring other world dictators such as Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Viktor Orban, just to name three, and giving support to their policies and points of view, and in some ways are also imitating their actions. These things don't just point to a mere difference of opinion. They establish a culture of open and normalized hatred and disenfranchisement that is endangering people every single day in the United States. It is a culture that MAGA cultists and their ilk have actively cultivated and are continuing to actively cultivate by their support of this president. Far greater than political divides, theological disagreements, or differing perspectives and beliefs, these things, and the people who support them, illustrate a fundamental disconnect in the way that we value and protect humanity. It is growing ever more apparent that this administration is becoming increasingly fascist and being defined by exclusion of the vulnerable, by fear of others who are different, by the hoarding of money and power, by the marginalizing of the stranger, the outsider, the non-white, and the female, and by the leveraging of fears and phobias to try to scare people into backing the evils of this administration. Donald Trump isn't just seeking to marginalize. He is trying to legislate out all but the wealthiest and the whitest. He is attempting to buy the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and deny access to those rights to all who are not extremely wealthy, all who are not women, and all who are not white. To still support the Trump administration is to loudly champion the evils of racism, sexism, nationalism, and a love of money. It is to ratify his contempt for the diversity of humanity and his lack of empathy and compassion for their suffering. How can I, or anyone else, claim to be an ally of the LGBTQ community while offering friendship to those who believe they should be eradicated from this earth? How can we simultaneously support the immigrant population and offer welcome to people who celebrate their exclusion and expulsion? How do we stand with starving Palestinians and war-ravaged Ukrainians, and at the same time maintain relationships with people who lack a shred of compassion for them? How do we proclaim the grace, love, and forgiveness of Jesus to people for whom vengeance, punishment, and dominance are the code of conduct in interpersonal relationships? You know, these are not neat, tidy, hypothetical questions I'm asking here. And they are not weighed by me in the safety of some theoretical discussion. They are the real questions that I, as an American, as a woman, as a person, am now facing. That we all are now facing in the mess of our everyday lives, and they have real consequences if we don't address them. It is virtually impossible to claim belief in and support for Trump and still stand for equality, diversity, and empathy. Now, this isn't me trying to be self-righteous. I certainly have my own faults, believe me. This is my declaration that the MAGA movement is a threat to the goodness and basic decency of our society. A goodness and decency which I personally have seen and experienced firsthand many times in my life, and in which I firmly believe. I still strongly believe that diversity makes our society better, makes me better. I believe that more voices benefit conversations between people of all backgrounds. And I believe that the different and diverse expressions of all of humanity deserve to be represented. I believe in navigating differences between people. I believe in seeing the real commonalities of our shared experiences of being human in as many of our interactions as possible. As a pastor and as a follower of Jesus, I personally am called to bring diverse people together, to love them, and to care for them. I am compelled to understand them, and individually and in community, and to value their specific stories. But I am not commanded to, or even asked to, have unity with hate and evil. It would be a slap in the face to the migrant children and their parents, to people of color, to transgender people, to Muslims, to disabled people, to non-Christians, to atheists, and to women. For me to offer welcome into my life to the willing and joyous perpetrators of their suffering in the name of some ceremonial tolerance or wrongful interpretation of turn the other cheek. In light of this, I admit that I am much less willing to tolerate aggressive bullying or unremorseful cruelty. And that may mean distancing myself from strangers, friends, and even people that I love if they insist on dehumanizing people or clinging to Fox News and other alternative extremist media outlets' false facts to justify such behavior. People of faith, morality, and conscience are not, and I repeat, not required to make peace with hatred or evil. People of faith, morality, and conscience are not required to make peace with hatred or evil. We are not indebted to fascism, racism, bigotry, or fear-based violence. The call to love one's enemies does not necessitate enduring their enmity. Active hatred and discrimination cannot coexist with love and goodness. That isn't a contradiction to my values. It is a declaration of them. And there is a passage in the Bible that says it way better than I could. In the 12th chapter of St. Paul's letter to the Romans, verse 9, it says quite clearly, your love must be sincere. Therefore, hate what is evil and cling to what is good. Thank you very much for listening to this essay, and again, I hope that you will feel free to like and comment and even subscribe to my page. I don't get on here every day. The more that I learn about making videos and being able to give some talks and read some of my essays, the more often I will start to do it. But I do thank you for, your patience every week to at least wait once a week for my my sharing time. And I really hope that you will subscribe and share this page and perhaps read the essay and share the written one as well. And again, my great thanks to you for listening to the channel today. And I will look forward to having you join us in a couple of days. You all take care now. Bye-bye.